Hello, starting again. I'm running out of space, so it stopped recording. This channel is about processing my relationship with Quentin Tarantino. It is a diseased case study in clairvoyance and remote viewing. Right? And so, right? He opened the window for me to be a movie star, right? And when I didn't walk through the doorway, right, he took it upon himself to see that I get in the ground, that I die, right? That's, right, this has been his campaign. There's no other way to interpret what he's been doing, right? There's no other way to interpret his behavior, right? He will always deny it, right? He will always say that I'm not well, right? And so the point is that if that's true, then where is your document showing that you told me you wanted me to question you about cinema speculation, right? That's like, it's easy. This is not complicated logic, right? You show me where, right? You practically, right? You simply told the truth and told me what you wanted me to do, right? And didn't turn it into a fucked up mind game. And then you're right. Then I'm not well. That's the point. Right? And since he can't do that, right, because it doesn't exist, right, because if he had done that, right, we wouldn't be here now. I would have walked through the door, right? Oh gosh, right? And so now he said, oh, this guy doesn't respect it, right? He doesn't know what's going on, right? He doesn't want to give me what I want, right? I'll destroy him, right? And he's failed, unless he hasn't. Right? But it's degenerated into a disgusting, dangerous condition where now it's just evil, right? There's no subtlety, right? There's no varnish, right? It's just a sick, pathological, psychic siege, right? Two people embroiled in something, right? He has now taken steps with his mind to seek the destruction of my body, right? Everything up until now, right, has been some sort of bullshit, subtle ploy to make me say, oh gosh, it's so much bang. Oh no. Right, but I know what time it is, right? This is not, right? Right? He's not special, he's just clever, right? That psychic phenomenon, clairvoyance, right, is a latent bandwidth, right? Right? And so, I suppose rather than reading on my novel, which I have been earlier, and I'll say that the scenes, obviously, right, that it's not, right, even the ones that are a final draft, they can be better, right? They can be better. Some nice passages to be sure, right? But, right, this is what I did today. Dry point etching, it's a little dirty, it's a little messy, right? That great demon Baphomet, right? Drawn by my hand, right? But this is from Levi, of course, right? Anyone who's been paying attention to these videos, they know. They know where this comes from, right? It's a branch of the wisdom tree, right? Has nothing to do with Satanism. Has nothing to do with evil. Right? But ignorant Presbyterians think so, right? And so to remind them, right? I make this, right? And I send it, right? But it's not quite there, is it? Right? I need a thicker piece of plexiglass, and I have to get better at rubbing it out. You know, it's difficult. It's oily. It's very thick. You know, so my hands are all fucked off, right? But, right? That's, what is that? What is that? Just the ravings of a lunatic? Is that? Pretty sure that's a focused, concentrated effort right there that took some 30 hours total in terms of etching it, right? And then the prep work of the actual printing, right? Really nice place in Low Mill, Huntsville, Alabama. Pie Wacket Press. I talk to her about what's going on. I'm talking about it every day. Doesn't matter, right? So, he's taking these steps, right, that he got from me, right? Right? Because I know what the game is. Right? And now he's decided, oh, yeah, that's the game that I want to play. Right? Oh, I can't trick you with my mind, right? So I'll use my mind right? And so he's given me permission, right? He's escalated it, right, to this very palpably dangerous level, right? And so now we're going to talk about that in greater detail, right? If you've been paying attention to my previous videos, right, that you know, right, that my worldview, right, is that life has a latent intellectual principle, right, diffused within every cubic centimeter of space, which has nested within it, right, the ultimate idealized quantum potential electric waveform, right? And so it's the motion of the celestial zephyr, it's the breathing, right, of the intellectual pressure, right, upon the hologram, right, and the specific dihedral, the angle with which, right, this is what defines what is expressed manifestly, right? So if we have a sphere, right, we have, 360 degrees, right? Each great circle around it, right? And you can have, if you say that the width of the circle is, say, 1 centimeter, 1 cubic centimeter, right? And you have a surface of a sphere, or you have a sphere of however much volume, right? Then you can have however many circles, right? The point is that, right, God the Father, right, the intellectual principle, the abstraction, right, wishes to express its knowing, right, through thinking, right, and thinking puts pressure upon the quantum potential hologram, right, which mutates it into a manifested corpuscular, right, measurable condition. Right? And so the duration of the expression of the condition, right, is harmonically proportioned, right, to the duration of the intellectual wind, right, of the expression of the motion, right? So, right, the divine light of deity passes through it, right, and it is manifested thereby, right? Atheists, right? They say things like Sam Harris, Christopher Hitchens, all these guys. Right? They say things like, "How can there be a God in a world where children get raped?" Things of this nature. Again, right? That's a level of understanding, right? That's a mouthpiece, right? And so, right, me, right, I could have been a movie star, right, but now, right, it's degenerated into this dangerous thing, right, and so I see myself as the guardian angel of the world, right, and so the reason that these things exist, right, is because of equality in physics. It has nothing to do with psychology, right? This is the fallacy of your logic, right? Thomas Pynchon, right? Wonderful novelist. I wrote him about reconciling with Quentin. Did he read it? I don't know. He's a wizard, But he has a book, right? It's called Inherent Vice, right? PTA adapted it. The term itself in his canon, right, is used at least once, 10 years prior to the publication of that novel, in Mason and Dixon. And so inherent vice is a quality, right? Inherent vice is an idea, right? That there is something within creation, right, that compels it to decay and die. Inherent vice. There's something inherent in creation, right, that corrupts, that degrades, right? And so, right, again, if you take this leap in logic, right, if you say, okay, yes, no, that works, that makes perfect sense, right, that it's mind, right, that intellect, right, there is an intellectual principle, right, which exerts pressure upon inert space, right, and manifests matter thereby, right, if you say that, right, then boom, it's all there, then it's all there, right, in that one sort of umbrella, right? And so how does that relate to Sam Harris, right? What does that have to do, right, with evil, right? Okay, so if life derives from intellect, right? From an intellectual pressure, right? And so if that is true, and life cannot flourish without decomposition, right? Again, right? If everything just grew perpetually, right? As Walter Russell espouses this in one of his books, the whole universe would be one giant static photon, right? That there would be no dynamics, right? So, okay, right? So we say mind permeates all, right? That through pressure upon the quantum potential geometric archetypal abstraction, always idea, right? Never manifest, right? That the corruption, right, of the celestial pressure, right, mutates this type structure, right, into its corpuscular shadow, right? Plato's allegory of the cave, right? Like, this is what he's talking about, right? Okay, so we have a divine mind, right? And the mind, right, exists everywhere, always, right? And embedded within it, right, is the wisdom of the ages, right? All things that can be known are already known, right? And so with life, right, if it's an intellectual principle, right, therefore, right, evil exists in the psychology of man, right, as a result of the necessity for inherent vice within physics. That's why. Everything that is experienced materially, manifestly, physically, right, derives from an intellectual shadow, right? And so since decomposition and death must occur in order for life to flourish, right, there must be evil in the mind of man, right? Because conscious awareness has to have a mirror with which to reflect the necessary qualities of reality. That's it. Right? That's, right? So we're all caught up now. Right? Right? And so Quentin is a psychic voyeur, right? This is how he writes his movies, right? It is my belief that he understands very little. But what do I know, right? Somebody else ask him, right? He fucking hates me. Right? But he's created this dangerous condition, and so we're talking about it, right? And so what do I have to say about it, right? Okay. We understand that the mind, right, can penetrate anywhere, right? This is how remote view people find anyone, right? That's like, these are all connected to the same thing, right? So I posit, right, that the hologram waveform, right, quantum hologram waveform, right, which nests perfectly within every cubic centimeter of space, is perfectly distributed, right, is akin to these things, right? That this is the abstract scaffolding of the universe, right? And so when you meditate on these, right, you tap into, right, all of creation, right? So when you take these, right, into your mind, right, even the self-portrait, right, all of it, right, that it's a relay, right? Yeah. Does Quentin do any of this? Yeah. Nah. I don't know. I doubt it. Right? So, right? He gets a kick, right? Out of compelling people to do things, right? Right? And so, right? Now I have two drawings I want to talk about. Right? As far as, right? We're playing the mind game now. That's like, right? Okay, so, right? Mind, right? Now he has degraded this thing, right? Elevated it, right? Up to, right? He's using his mind, right? To try to destroy my body, right? Now I've touched on it in other videos, right? But let's take these two drawings. And they're on opposite sides of the same piece of paper. So we take this, right? Which is a circle enclosed in a square, right? And then The edge of the square is used as the base for an equilateral triangle, which goes into the circle. Right? And so if we flesh this out all the way, this drawing, it becomes this drawing in the middle. The New Jerusalem. 12, 3, 6, 9, 12. Right? 12 ages of the zodiac. Anyway, 28 subdivisions. Right? Okay. But not concerning ourselves with all of it, right? Because that's perhaps a little too much. Right? We have this one. Right? And then if I turn it around, we have the same thing perpendicular. A little bit smaller. Right? See, I can do that. Right? But it's 45 degrees. Right? So we have this. Right? And then we have this. Right? It's the same thing. Right? So, right? Peter J. Carroll. Chaos magic. Right? That you can, right? You can hold this in your mind, right? You can hold this in your mind, right? You can have this thing spinning, right? Like a gyroscope in your mind, right? That you can hold that in your mind, right? That you're only bounded by the limitations that you set for yourself, right? So, right? Right? So, he takes steps, right? He does things that he'll always deny, right? Where he uses his psychic pressure, right, to attempt to damage and poison my body, right? He pushes his intention out as an attack, right? That's what has occurred, right? For months, it was coy. It was seductive. Right? I'm a fucking bull in a china shop. Right? And so now, right, we're just fist fucking each other. Right? That's what it's degenerated to. Right? And so now he's done this thing. Right? Where he's taken a real step, right, towards the side of evil. His soul is lost. It's gone forever. Right? And so now, right? Right? That now I have no choice, right? And I'm right? I'm cool, right? Right? That's, right? So I put all of these in my mind. Right? Right? Put all these in my mind, right? I have 1,000 more of them all in my mind at the same time, constantly, right? Just like God. Get it? Right? And so, right? I use all of these, right, to find anybody. Right? Right? And so now that he's done things, right? Right? And I'm not playing, right? He's just torturing me. That's all that's happening. Right? But now, right? My point is that, right? I collapse all of these, right, into your mind, right? Whomever you may be. Right? And you have an epileptic seizure, right? That's same game. Right? Same game. Right? And so now, I've ordered 6 magnifying glasses. Right? Right? As well as a series of prisms. And I'm going to build something. Right? Right? And I'm going to show it on here. Right? I'm going to say, this is how it works. Right? Right? And so, right? How does it work? Right? Allow me, right, to lift the veil, right? That these geometric abstractions, right, per Dan Davidson, not from me, right, coagulate electromagnetic effluvia in the corners, in the intersections, right? Right? So, right? Right? You conjure them in your mind, right? All of life, right, stems from an intellectual pressure. Right? This is, right? Right? So you conjure these things in your mind, right? And so you find the other person, right? You create this psychic connection with them, right? And so, boom, you're in their mind, right? The mind is non-local, right? But it is intimately connected with the body and the brain, isn't it? Right? So you're there, right? You're putting, right? You're communing, right? The two of us are in communion all the time, right? My point is that, right? That these are different sizes, aren't they, right? And so as you get them to spin, right, and to collapse, right? Right? Get this to collapse, right? It's coagulating, right? It's doing the exact same thing that God does. That's the point, right? And if you're fucking strong enough, right? Right? You can collapse, right? The quantum wave field archetype, right? Which is embedded within all space, right? Right? And destroy anyone. That's the point. That's the point. Because as you continue to collapse space, right, into the mind, right, of the adept, as these forms get smaller, right, that coagulation, right, of electromagnetic effluvia, right, from all of these forms, right, rotating, collapsing, expanding, right, if you can collapse them all, right, simultaneously into singularity, it will transmute the inert space into light. That's the point. That's the point that I'm making right now, right? Is it something that anyone can do? No, of course not. Of course not. These are the highest levels, right? We're playing, right? This is the most disgusting psychic siege game, right, of all time, right? That this is, right, now we're actually, right, and so when I put this thing together, right, is there such a thing as clairvoyance, right? This is the only question, right? Is there such a thing as telepathy, right? Is there such a thing as psychic phenomena, right? And of course, we all know that the answer is yes, unequivocally, right? And so what I'm saying is that this is how all of these things work, right? I betray no master, I betray no order, right? This is, right? Quentin's trying to kill me with his mind. He can always lie about it, right? And so what I'm saying right now, right, just so that we're all on the same page, is that, yes, I do live in fear for my life, but now, right, now I have to, right? I could just sit here like an asshole and go, oh, woe is me, right? Or I could assume he's not a complete fucking coward and know that he respects that this is the game that he signed up for, right? And I'm never going to use that thing, right? Unless he persists, right? But it is the Celestial Iron Maiden. If wielded properly, it will destroy anyone, right? It will make anyone so fucking miserable, right? And it'll kill them, for sure. Days, weeks, not long. Right? It will transmute the cytoplasm of their cells, right? It will vaporize the water in your pineal gland. Yes, right? Like this is, right? Like that's the same game, right? So, right? We're not doing it in the dark anymore. No. No more. It's fine. I'm a loser, right? But this thing, right? No, it's out there, right? I'm an honest guy. No. He's trying to do these things. This is what he's trying to do, right? And so I'm airing it, right, on the public, on the airwaves, right, live, right? And so, right, when I wield, one second. When I wield the same tools that he wields, right, to such an attenuated degree, right, that a corpse emerges in some way, right? right? So now, like, right, like this is like that's right, right. He's using his mind to try to destroy my body. Like that's like, right. That's right, right. This is unequivocal, right? And he'll always deny it, right? That's his right, right, right. So it's his right to say, I have no idea what you're talking about, right? But you don't have to believe me, right? You ain't gotta believe me. Right? Ask Robert De Niro. Ask Mike Simpson. Ask Ari Emanuel. Right? Ask Daniela, that fine fucking wife he's got. Right? He should be focused on her and his family. Right? I had the chance to be a movie star immediately. Right? And it's my right, right? To turn my back. Right? And I'm ashamed. Who cares? Power. Right? Because I did. I still wanted the role for a while. But of course, it's, you know. Oh. I get it. It's fine. I failed the telepathy test. I am the strongest clairvoyant of my generation. 100%. Right? Anyone who says otherwise hasn't been paying attention. Right? But my point is that he doesn't have the right. He doesn't have the right to assassinate me. Right? He doesn't have no. Now he's descended into real evil, right? Like that's and he's good at it. Right? Like that's right? And so I've put up with it for a long time, right? But now we're talking about it every day. I'm reading from the novel, right? I'm talking to you about the nature of reality, right? We're bringing it to the forefront, right? Right? I don't know. I don't know. He has so much. He has everything. Right? All he had to do, right? Let's say, there's the NDA. Here's $500,000. Go play Hamlet in Oklahoma. That's all I had to say. Right? This is how, my point is that this is how he's made his money, right? That this is like we both failed our tests, right? As far as God, the Father, right? Like, God brought me into Quentin's life for me to play the movie critic. That's obvious, right? That's unequivocal, right? That there's no. Like, that's like, okay, like, yes, I see that. I do see that, right? Right? But since I didn't bend to his will, right? Like, that was my test and I failed it, right? No movie star Brian. It's fine, right? Right? But his test thereafter was, how are you going to handle this, right? The appropriate thing to do, right? Is to focus on what you do have, right? Is to be grateful for what you do have. You wanted to control this man, and now you see that you never will, right? Right? And so rather than, right, leaving me be, right? Right? He has, and again, he'll lie. He'll just lie. Right? He has no honesty. It's all cunning. Right? Right? So it's just a mess. It's just a mess, I should have. Right? It's my fault. As far as him hating me, right? Like, he doesn't hate me because of him. Right? He hates me because of me, right? Like, I made that decision, right? So, my point is that, right, life and death, no, there's no such thing, right? There's no such thing as a life and death movie, right? No. Huge sin, right? Egregious, hideous sin against God, humanity, the brotherhood of man, right? To say, oh, I don't get what I want, so you die. No. Doesn't work that way, right? Right? And so it's been subtle, right, all these months, right, about women, and, it's. And I believed him, 100%. He got me good. Got me good, didn't he, Mom?
Yep.
But now the game's over, right? That's the point, right? That now it's just, right? It's just a sick, disgusting exercise, right? We're on the frontier, right? That this is precedent that we're setting, right? And so he'll always lie, right? He'll always lie. This is like, just accept it, right? Right? Eventually, if he doesn't kill me, right? If we keep like existing on the mortal coil together, right? And I'm assured, oh, I can't fucking kill you. I can't fucking kill you. Right? That he will have to, right? He'll have to acknowledge me in some way, right? He'll have to, right? Because, right? Or he'll retire, right? But that's, right? And so that's, right? That's what I see, right? That he's going to retire and torture me, right? Until, right? One of us is dead. That's all I can know, right? I have to assume, right? That he's my mortal enemy. There's nothing else to consider there, right? These tactics against me, right? Just base. As degenerate as it gets. Right? So we're talking about it. Right? Right? And when I put this thing together, right? Right? It's my fault. Right? Right? We wouldn't be here right now if he was actually cool, right? Like that's the point. That's the point, right? That he's actually not well, right? That he wanted to turn this into some exercise in power, right? That's what, right? I respect him as a writer, right? I'll let him direct me as a director, like as an actor, right? That's what, right? You turn your back on the actors you want to direct? Is that? So that's what you want to portray to the world. Oh, it was supposed to be cool. Yeah, it was supposed to be cool. I agree. Right? Oh, you were supposed to be excited about it. You know, like, I'm not. It's not. Right? It's my fault. Like, I acknowledge that. Like, yes, right? But, right? In that moment, I didn't want any games. No more games. No. You played your games, right? For 3 months, 5 months, right? As much or as little as you want. So, I wanted you to look me in the eye and tell me what you want. Like a man. Right? And so, you turned your back. And so that's what you wanted me to do, I guess. Right? Oh, you don't want to talk to me, right? Right? And again, David Mamet's masterclass, right? That's the last thing he talks about, right? So, if you can hear him, oh, there's the door. You walk right through that door. All you got to do is hear him. Right? And so I made the choice to close the door, right? Like I made the choice, right? Right? And yes, he hates me now, right? He'll always hate me. Right? I humiliated him. I hurt him. I understand that. Right? But, right? Feelings mutual. Right? This isn't, right? I didn't go there thinking, now I can't wait until I fucking hurt Quentin. Hell yeah, I'm gonna spend $1,000. Right? Put myself up in the front of that line, stand in line for 4 fucking hours. Right? So that I could not give him what he wanted, right? But I didn't. No more games, right? Right? We played our games. Like, we played our games that whole time. Right? That's the point, right? So, right? Right? You call me a coward, you call me a loser, right? I don't care, right? None of you motherfuckers know, right? That it's bullshit, right? Right? He's a man, right? That's what he is, right? But he's also a clairvoyant, isn't he? And so am I. And so now we're in a disgusting psychic siege, right? Because he thought that I didn't respect it, right? Right? And respecting him, right? All those months, I trusted him, right? I believed the bullshit that he was telling me, right? And it's as rich as any fucking experience could possibly be. Right? And so, right, on New Year's Eve of this year, right, I began remote viewing the woman, right, that he was alleging was his daughter, right? Her name is Allison Tarantino, right? And so within 10 days, she was a hooker who gets pissed on. He just kept reaching, going farther and farther and farther, right? And so I kept, right? I went off. This is what actually happened, right? I started burying him in it, right? Had a different vision board, very similar to this, right? Blasting the psychic landscape, right? With hideous visions of disease, right? I never used any diseases, right? Diagrams, pictures, right? All of it, My point being that, right, right, I trusted him, right? That's not, right? I didn't do that to actually poison anyone, right? I didn't do that, right? I know how to actually do that. That's what he's been doing, right? I did it, right? Because I believed him, right? That I believed that he had some girl that he had trained to be a disgusting witch, right? That's right? And she was using her prowess to torture me, right? And so I started torturing her right back, right? And after however many days, there is no daughter, right? No, that's what's occurring now is not what I, Quentin Tarantino, signed up for. So I'm coming clean, right? And after he came clean, right, then it became obvious, oh, you're just trying to compel me to blow my brains out. Okay, I get it. Joke's on me, okay. Right? That's when I came clean, right? And so that's also when I had the fear of, what else is he going to do to put me in the ground, right? And now he's done it. A number of times. Really, really disgusting things, right? Really just the dregs, the basest, vilest behavior, right? That can be endured by any man. And I'm here. I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe nothing. Hopefully nothing, right? Hopefully it is all psychological torture, right? That it doesn't actually, right? But what I'm saying is it can, right? That we're playing this game. Now we're playing I'm using my mind to try to destroy you, right? And I'm assured that that's over with, right? Because I'm burying the internet in content, right? And I'm about to put Quentin Tarantino on the title of every single one of my videos, including this one, right? Because it's time to talk about it, right? Got what you wanted, right? Joke's on me, right? No one loves me. You hate me. You're going to use your mind to torture me forever. Badass movie director, right? Right? So, I have the right to say these things, right? Because I earned my wisdom, right? You believe it, you don't believe it, right? But you have to believe it, right? There's no other way. There's no other way to see it. Right? There's no other way to interpret it, right? That he didn't do any of this, right, for us to have a diseased relationship for 2 decades. No. That's doesn't work that way, right? He's supposed to, right? And this is what I'm saying. He's going to retire, and we're just going to torture each other until one of us is dead, right? That's, I'm not going to do anything anymore. I'm done. The game's over, right? So, right? I have no choice, right? That door could open any moment. Bang, bang, bang. Dead, right? Right? He has a great violence in him, right? He has a palpable darkness, right? And he showed me that little bit of light, right? That's he did show it to me, right? And I suppose it wasn't enough for me, right? You want to crawl around in my mind for months on end, right? Right? Poison my mind with notions of David Berlinski wanting me to interview him because you wanted me to interview you. Right? When you could have just went boop, 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 boop. Could have had someone send an anonymous email. Right? So, my point is that clairvoyance comes at a cost, right? Right? And that cost is absolute devotion, right? There's no such thing as an emergency movie, right? This is an emergency frequency, right? Right? So, he played his games, and I opted out because he played them long enough, right? And so now he hates me, right? That's right. I can't stress this enough, right? And it's my fault. It's my fault. But we're talking about it, right? Right? Because he's made it this disgusting thing. That's not me, right? That's not on me. Tribeca is me, right? The movie, right? The movie not being released yet. Right? Has he made the movie? Has he not made the movie? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Perhaps he's made some of it. Right? Right? He stopped the film, the production, in December because of my letters, right? Kicked it back off again when he stopped accepting my mail at the end of January, right? The beginning of February. And then canceled the film on April 17th when I published my third review of Gone with the Wind. So that's probably not enough time to make a whole movie, I guess. You could make, I don't know, if you're fast. He's real artsy. Right? My point is that there's obviously no reconciliation, right? That he has no heart, right? And now I see he has no honor. That's no. He has no reverence for God, right? He has no reverence for man, right? He has no reverence for mind, right? He abuses wisdom, right? To manipulate people, right? This is the actual man, right? And so I did so much, right? I did so much to show him how sorry I am, right? And it was sincere at the time, right? I hated myself immediately. But, right? No forgiveness, right? It's his show. And that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. You want to keep this fucked up relationship, right, for 2 decades, right? Right? Where I have a celestial apocalyptic death engine, right, that I have to wield, right, every time I feel something, right? Fine. But, oh, gosh, he's not well. He's not well, right? Right? I don't want to make that fucking movie with him. No. Nah, that ship sailed. That ship sailed. Right? In February, with the hooker. With the, whatever the fuck that was. His conspiracies are shallow. Right? His tactics are base. Right? And so, right? It's my job, right? To be the guardian angel of the world and remind you, right, that there is at least one man in the world, right? Right? Solely devoted to the dark arts. Right? That he could be healing the sick, right? With that power he's got. Right? He could divest that into the arts in a way that helps people. Right? That palpably helps people. Right? That he could take that energy, right, and do children's theater, non-profit puppet shows, right? These are the things that he could be doing. Right? Right? Instead, right, he sits in his dungeon with his pentagram, right? Right? And his Baphomets. Right? And pushes his mind into other people. Right? I could give you probably 100 fucking examples right now. Right? Right? And so again, right, the point is that if he handled this differently, right? And I guess I'm gonna stop, right? Because I feel like he's gonna fucking assassinate me any second. Right? So the point is that the proper way to handle that, right, was to make me sign an NDA, right? And say, there's $500,000, fuck off. You blew it. Right? And leave me be. Right? Instead, right, he said, oh, I'll destroy this guy, right? Through a tactic, right, that I can always deny, right? But, however, right, Tribeca, right, release the movie, right? Release the conversation, right? It's time, right? No. No, we're not. Right? So, I'm going to talk about it every day. God bless you all. Pray for me. Pray for Quentin, right? An amicable resolution. That's all. Right? That's That's all, right? Like, honestly, we still need to make the movie together, right? Like, there is no hope for us psychologically. He doesn't want it, I don't want it, right? Like, this is... But otherwise, we're lost. We're lost. Right? So, God bless you all. Pray for me. Like, comment, subscribe.